Hey folks, welcome to another episode of Arcane Assist. I'm Tim, joined this week by Evan. How's it going, Evan?
I am doing well.
Excellent. We are showing off some Retribution versus minions. Specifically, when I say minions, we're talking Farrow.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's not the Farrow theme because that's garbage. No, it's not that bad. But
it's kind of a good theme. It gives you the choices you want. It just doesn't have a lot of the things that you might want.
Yeah.
Anyway, you're playing Midas, which I think is really cool.
Nope, Carver.
Carver. Almost as cool as Midas.
Yeah.
Sorry, I played against Midas at the WTC, and it was a really, really tight game against Liam, who's maybe one of the best Farrow players in the world. Australian player, really awesome guy. Anyway, that's why Midas is in my brain. But today, Evan is playing Carver.
Yeah.
And
So
Carver has some cool tools, some things I wasn't expecting.
Yeah. So this list was based more or less on the principle of how much can I push a certain stat to its limit. In this case, being speed. So in this particular theme,
I thought it was armor.
Well, it also is pretty good at that, to be fair. Batting down the hatches is a hell of a drug, but
That is a fact.
in this particular case, it's that roadhogs get really, really fast and work for food. So the gist of it is Carver has mobility. Roadhogs have full speed or something like that. They have a thing that gets them +2 speed. They can force for it. It's a dial, speed dial. I'm going to call it that for now.
It's not even remotely
And will work for food, gives your war beasts +2 speed when running on the first turn, and they can run for free. So, if you've been doing the math, a roadhog on turn 1 runs 22 inches up the board.
It's a lot.
A warhog and your other lights and stuff run 18.
It's still a lot.
So you can get pretty far up the table. It's pretty sweet.
Yeah, it sure is. And you brought a list in, as we mentioned already, will work for food, with just basically a bunch of Farrow beasts and some free junk.
Yeah, it's 4 roadhogs, a warhog, 2 razor boars, and a battle boar, as well as my solos and units being Kwaak and Gub for enliven and healing, which is pretty sweet, as well as a solo to score flags, Maximus, Gremlin Swarm, because it's an incorporeal model that has some sweet interactions with Quagmire, and a Bone Shrine for the Fury, and some Farrow Valkyries, because shield guards are good when your caster is often camping nothing.
Yeah, it's pretty true. And if he's not camping nothing, sometimes he's cursed.
Yeah, also bad.
I'm playing Retribution. I mentioned already I'm thinking about maining either Retribution or Circle next year as my sort of convention-going faction. I like to switch every year, and I'm trying some things out in Retribution. Because we're still dealing with pre-CID rules at this point in time, this Retribution list is as sort of CID change agnostic as I can imagine. It's in Defenders. Instead of using Risavas or something else that you could get advanced move with, it's using Halberdiers, who get advanced move in the theme and will continue to in the changes. I'm playing kind of a Ghost Sniper Iris package that's good at killing Hellmouths, like some kind of generalist things that I think would be good meta-beating tools right now. But I'm playing the whole list with Garryth, who's a caster who I don't think changes a ton in any of the CID changes, and I think can play kind of a bit of a mini control game, a bit of a bully you piece, while being a pretty reasonable support caster. My list has Garryth with Moros and a Banshee as his battle group. That capitalizes on his points exactly. He's bringing Sylys, and then I have Iris, 2 Ghost Snipers, a heavy rifle team, a unit of Halberdiers with their unit attachment and 1 soulless escort, 2 Arcantrik's force generators, and Skeryth Issyen, who's really good, especially when he's free. And let's see if I'm missing anything. No, I think that's basically it.
Cool.
Oh, Arcanists. Too. That's the one.
The roadhog rule is called full bore.
It is.
Okay, cool. And with that, I think we're ready to go into deployment.
All right, so jumping into it, Evan wins the die roll and elects to go first. I chose this side, sort of on the right-hand side here. Reasons for choosing that side. So I'm not 100% sure this is the right call. I felt like the flag on the top side of the board there was easier to sort of protect against, and that fairly open portion of the board would make a really big firing gallery for my guns that could get access not only to most of Evan's zone, but also a good chunk of my zone and across the board. It's possible the fairly large obstruction on the bottom half of the board makes Evan's flag too restrictive in turn. That was sort of the elements that I was weighing when I made this decision. The water doesn't really affect me a ton, but this rubble here maybe is a piece of defensive tech that could be useful. Most of Evan's guns in his list are sprays, and honestly, he's planning to probably just kill me in melee instead of anything else. So, side choice didn't matter a ton. No matter what side I picked, we'd be playing it more or less on my side of the board.
Yeah. As you're going to see on my turn, I more or less draw the line of engagement, or at least, yeah, draw the line for the first turn, anyways, on Tim's side of the table, because of how far I run. My Roadhogs can run 22 inches on the first turn. I don't actually utilize the entire 22 inches. I kind of just huddle behind the forest and make sure that I can't be shot in any ways that I don't want to be shot. I am planning on putting a couple models forward to bait out some gunshots, force the AFGs to aim on turn 1, because I'm going to give them too good a target not to shoot at. And if they decide to move up, then I can likely just kill them later on in the turn by overtaking into them and killing them that way. And if they choose to aim, then they're not threatening the rest of my army. They're not moving in to contest the zones, and they're generally doing less in this game if they're just standing and aiming the entire time. So yeah. That's basically my plan for the first turn. As you can see, we're playing Mirage. In the middle, we have a bony forest. We have 2 large redstone obstructions. And then on the right-hand side, we have both a wall and a rubble piece. And then on the left-hand side, we have a water and another wall.
Yeah, this is that the Bloodstone Marsh terrain set that we've talked about a couple of times. Issyen recently produced this for us. I think it's really nice. Well, he purchased it for the store. We just happened to have the luxury of using it at a pretty nice shop. I deployed basically with the notion that I had a huge number of guns that I wanted to put in that sort of topmost gallery area. And then my halberdiers got kind of pressed over to the left-hand side here. We're just advanced moving them up now. I'm kind of using the advanced move to sort of redeploy them a bit more centrally, because I do want them to be fairly central pieces in that list. One of the experiences I've had a couple of times is Mirage being a really, really live scenario. I haven't found kind of the yin of playing it defensively yet. I think there is a way to play this scenario really defensively and really effectively, and I get close to that this game, which we'll talk about a little bit later in the match. But I think it's kind of a really complicated scenario from a positioning perspective. You've got to kind of know exactly when to capitalize on things, and that's why casters like Magnus 2, who really prevent you from capitalizing on a key turn, can take true advantage of this. Yeah.
So heading into my first turn, Carver's a weird caster in that I often feel when you look at his card, you think you're supposed to make the choice between casting mobility and batten down the hatches. And I feel like in this list, I often just say, I'll camp 1 by taking 1 off the Bone Shrine and be fine.
Maybe it'll curse me. Probably it'll be fine.
Probably it'll be fine. I'll be camping 1 at 1320, which feels pretty comfy. And most of the time, my beasts will be so far up the table that I'm like well behind them, being just fine, and my opponent has to deal with them before me.
Yeah, so talking table markers for a second, Kwaak and Gub walked up and enlivened those 2 Roadhogs that are sort of really aggressively positioned there. So
yeah,
that's like if I clip them with Blast or I hit them with a shot somehow at a really good vector, they can be even more aggressive, or they can pull back if you think they might get really damaged that round. I think Enliven's a really neat addition to the Farrow lists. I think it adds a lot of weird tools to their otherwise fairly fragile beasts.
Yeah. Farrow beasts are weird in that their defensive stats are that of a troll heavy. They're 12-18.
With no Creelstone.
But they don't have a Creelstone.
Yep.
And their boxes are that of a circle heavy. They're only 28. But in order to buff themselves in the ways they need, for the Warhog being strength, which would be warp strength on a Warp Wolf that they all get for free, or speed on a Roadhog, which is pretty unique and is probably stronger than a lot of things the Circle gets.
Like Warp Speed.
Oh, wait, nope, that does exist. You're right. Never mind. These heavies have to take D3 damage, which means they actually most of the time have fewer boxes than a Circle
heavy. Do they still
heavy.
have to force for it?
Yes, they do.
They have to force for it, too? Ugh. They're so bad, Evan.
Yep.
But you know how when they're good is when they have battened down the hatches.
Which makes them, instead of 12-18, 10-21. So they have higher armor than a Khador Heavy, although they do have fewer boxes. Over the course of 6 attacks, it basically works out the same.
Yeah.
So they're worse at taking heavy hits, but better at taking a lot of small hits. So, my turn was quite quick. You're now just taking some shots at some things, I believe.
Yeah, so batting down the hatches is a bit of a problem. I end up, as Evan indicates, opting to aim with the AFG. What I want to do is like kind of slam, knock down pieces, and blow them up with Stormfall Archers and the other kind of powerful, heavy-hitting pieces. I don't really get that opportunity because everything's being knocked down. And when I say everything, I mean that somewhat liberally. It's the battle group, but it's most of Evan's army. So instead, I'm hitting a little bit lower POW than I want to be against things that can't be knocked down, so most of my defense negating tech is sort of removed. On the plus side, Rat 5 Stormfall Archers are actually pretty good at hitting Def 10. That's well in their wheelhouse.
Just touching on what happened there, the FG shot, his first shot at the Warhog was the knockdown shot, which afterwards I was like, okay, I'm not knocked down because of Batten.
Yep, I'm like, oh, this is a bad matchup all of a sudden.
And then you used the Destructor shot, which I shield guarded twice because I didn't want the front Valkyrie wanted to be either dead or down from a tough check because I want to get further up with Vengeance.
Yeah, so their Vengeance placement's pretty aggressive. The back Valkyrie does pass her tough check, but she's down to 1 box. She got blown up by that shot. Valkyries are really good. Vengeance on a shield guard unit's a very, very powerful interaction, especially when they've got tough and end up kind of just like hanging around in the game more than they should. These Stormfall Archers took a bunch of pretty good shots at that guy. All brutal damage, did good damage, all 4 of them hit, and then they got to Repo 3. That's the theme benefit in Defenders of Ios. Ghost Sniper moves up, does 3 to the 5, repos as well, another theme benefit. Second Ghost Sniper goes up, does 3 to the 5, repos. Yeah, the Ghost Snipers are really strong on this list. They're one of the things that I kind of underestimated. They're good at killing Hellmouths, which is sort of an essential thing lists are supposed to need to do now. They can do 3 damage apiece to it a turn. Iris can get in there and she can do a 3 damage as well. And like collectively, those 3 solos can knock out a Hellmouth a turn, which is pretty valuable. The Banshee here boosts to hit a shot into the same Warhog. Again, Momentum Cannon, not doing anything super exciting, but just boosting another POW 14 damage roll. And, we're doing the best we can to blow it up as quickly as possible. The Warhog's probably your highest damage dealing piece in the list?
Yeah, because of his aggression dial, he does get to a higher POW than the Roadhogs do. And he has a 3rd initial compared to them.
Having said that, he doesn't have an Assault Spray.
It's true. Less versatility, more oomph.
Yeah, so, taking out a little bit of that oomph is, something that appeals to me. I'm sort of... I think I maybe misplay the halberds here. It's a little bit intimidating to stare at just the incredible threat ranges that Evan's presenting this turn. Instead of kind of keeping these guys out of threat, I sort of put them all up in the board, and I'm like, okay, well, you have to roll a bunch of 7s to kill them. Like, that's... Maybe they'll be sticky enough to hold the zone a little bit, or to at least cause some positioning play, and then I'll kind of counterpunch with all my guns. I charge 3 of them at the Razor Boar, underestimating a little bit the durability of a Razor Boar. It goes down to Def 11, but it's Arm 13 base.
Yep.
Batten takes it to 16.
Yep.
And then they have Unyielding.
Which takes them to 18. So,
they still have 6.
Yeah, at first glance, it looks like a lesser, so you'll just be able to kill it as easily as a Shredder. But at Arm 18...
Yeah, it's just a little bit more durable than I anticipated. So instead of kind of comfortably killing it, on average dice, I leave it on a couple of boxes, and I roll a little below average and leave it on, I think, like 5 or 6.
You do 6 damage and leave it on 8.
Worse even still.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You
at dice minus 6, I probably 3 charges have to do more than 6. But
yeah.
What am I, a math wizard?
No, you're just a regular wizard.
That's correct. So Arcanist walks up, gives focus to Moros. Skeryth, Issyen, the Fane Knight, he runs up to put himself within comfortable range of all of these halberdiers so he can get Righteous Vengeance. He's got command of 9 for that effect, so he's got basically all of the halberdiers, including the ones that sort of reboot a little deeper. And now we're activating Iris. I sort of debate a couple of different options with Iris. Eventually I decide that, again, I'm not totally sure this is the right call. Maybe putting 3 points of damage into this Roadhog would be better. Oh, I'm sorry. Before I activate Iris, I make a couple of decisions with Garryth. I debate moving him up and taking some shots at this guy. He's got a blessed pair of hand cannons. So he's dice -6. He can boost damage twice, and he can put in maybe 3 or 4 points of damage per gun to put 6 or 7 points into a beast. Honestly, probably what should have happened is he should have activated really early in the turn, put those into the Warhog that I could definitely kill. The Roadhog that's there, if I shoot it there, I can't put enough points into it that I can't reliably expect it to, charge 13 inches with mobility and Pathfinder and kill Garryth. So I back him off to outside of 13 to both of them, and he just doesn't do very much this turn. Casts heightened reflexes on himself and camps 4.
Probably the better move.
Yeah, sorry. He also casts Sentry on the heavy rifle team. The heavy rifle team ran on the first turn, kind of occupied a position near the middle of the board. I'm thinking if they get a Sentry shot next turn, they can put a boosted hit armor piercing shot into somebody, which is, it's cute, if not unbelievably good. I'm definitely playing back a little more than I normally would in this scenario, especially because of Evan's kind of extreme threat ranges. One of the things he's done is put forward a list that can really just put a ton of pressure on me. So even Iris here goes to max range with her gun, takes a shot, strips the fury off this guy, so at least maybe Evan has to cut, and then she repos back a little bit. I mean, having to cut at this point in the game isn't the end of the world, but it's there.
Yeah, so at the beginning of my turn, as Tim said, I have to cut for 1. Thankfully, I can Spirit Reave for the other one from the Warhog.
Yep.
So we're doing okay for Fury there.
And you actually, you do a cute line of play here. You heal the Valkyrie who toughed.
Yep. I mean, she's the only thing in range that's taking damage, so I might as well do it. The other Valkyrie will walk up and hammer a halberdier into the ground, and that's 1 of 12 to take out. So the way I'm looking at this turn right now is how many halberdiers can I kill, and can I get into any big juicy targets with some overrun moves, or overtake moves rather. Oh god, if this caster had overrun. So
the theme benefit is all your beasts just get overrun.
That'd be silly. So first off, the Gremlin Swarm runs through the obstruction on the top to the flag. Even though a lot of Tim's stuff has magic weapons, the AFGs can't see through stealth, Iris can't see through stealth, and the Banshee will have to come mix it up in melee or get within 5 inches to shoot its gun. And I feel like all of those are pieces worth distracting. And if they have to go take care of a 3-point solo for the turn, I'm more than okay with that.
Yeah, I really don't want to put a double-digit point heavy into a 3-point Gremlin Swarm.
Yeah.
But it's basically what I've got.
So if Tim has to go do that, I'm okay with sacrificing that model for that purpose. And if not, he just sits there and contests the flag, which is lovely. Maybe even scores it if I get lucky. Razor Boar is going to clear out a charge lane for the back Roadhog. Takes out the first halberdier. He has overtake thanks to the theme, and he's going to go and take out a second halberdier because he's a good little piggy.
They're mat 6, right?
Yes, they're mat.
So just roll.
Yeah, mat 5 maybe even. Yeah,
I rolled 2 hard 8s.
Yeah, I rolled 2 hard 8s.
It's just ridiculous.
It was fine. The Valkyries are going to move up, take some shield cannon shots at some halberdiers. The first one's going to miss, and the second one is going to be shield guarded to Skeryth, who at this point is armor too much for me to damage.
20, I want to say?
Yeah, seems accurate. But I've cleared a lane for my Roadhogs to go in, and we're going to get some work done this turn. I really don't like the Sentry heavy rifle team. As much as it might be a little bit of an overcommitment to go into it, at the moment I'm thinking, oh, it's an armor-piercing gun, and I really don't like that, and it's getting to shoot twice on the turn. We might as well make Tim's resources that he put into it not worth
wasted.
much. Yeah, completely wasted by killing it before it even gets to make the thought of making a shot.
So Carver pulled from the spirit shrine.
Bone Shrine.
Bone Shrine.
Yeah.
And did not get cursed, which
Did
is
not
helpful.
get cursed.
So he got to comfortably walk up into a nice aggressive position, cast Batten, cast mobility.
Again, not a choice. Just do both. It's
Just
fine.
do everything. Yeah. What are you? 1320?
1320.
1320 is a stat line.
Especially with no knockdown tough.
No knockdown tough and a transfer.
And a transfer.
Even 1219 is pretty good for a caster.
Yeah, yeah. So, now the plan is, what can I get? Looking at the table, my first thought is, okay, I can get some overtakes and get into Skeryth. That's pretty good. Probably want to dismount him, make him a lot less scary. Want to trample in and get into the heavy rifle team, take that off the table, maybe get an overtake or two, and get into some more halberds. And then the last one, I'm thinking of whether or not I can get in with a trample vector and get onto Moros. But that's maybe a little more greedy than I should be thinking at this point. Here we're just checking. I trampled and then thought I could overtake off of it. We discover I can't, so I move it back to where I was.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, trample has a normal attack, or pardon me, overtake has a normal attack clause.
Yeah,
that's fine. You can still punch the rifle team, which was sort of your goal.
Yep, can still do the thing we wanted to do. So we buy some attacks into the rifle team. Only killed one halberdier on the trample instead of the two. But again, 7s is what I need to hit.
I take up once because you can overtake anyway. You buy an attack and get another inch movement. Use it to pivot around and punch the rifle team member. Sorry, you don't actually. You're actually out of fury at this point because you trampled bot.
Trampled bot, and then I use my last fury because I'm fury 4.
Right.
To get trigger lightning strike or my Maximus, and then I sprint into Moros because he doesn't, at this point in the game, have parry, because this is a pre-CID match.
Yeah, it should be acknowledged that, my kind of idea of flirting around with playing either Circle or Rat next year, I'm still making that decision. I'm playing some Rat lists that have a lot of elements that are not spectacularly changed by CID. So this is a list where Moros gets a little bit of an update, like a little bit of a refresh, but most of the pieces in this list are staying as they are.
This Roadhog's going to go up in Assault. I probably shouldn't have because it's going to kill my charge target, which means I can't overtake and then overtake into, what's his name?
You 8 to your charge target, your Assault target. So odds are you miss him.
I hit him and then missed the other 2 models under the spray template.
You killed just him.
I killed just him.
That's pretty effective.
This one's going to walk around the obstruction, kill a halberdier, overtake, kill another halberdier, overtake, be in range of Skeryth, buy his first attack.
Yeah, I think you roll every 7 here.
Well, I hit boost damage, buy an attack, hit again, don't boost damage, and dismount him. So he dismounts out of my melee range, and then I buy another attack onto a halberdier, which hits and kills. And then I overtake in even deeper.
Pretty effective job. You have killed most of the halberdiers this turn, which is... I mean, maybe I was wrong to have expected more of them to survive, but I definitely did not expect them to endure quite as well as they did. Mm-hmm. It might have been a prudent choice to just shield wall with them. Like, just, use that shield wall plus Repo 3 to position a little bit more aggressively and put them in some little, trio hedgehog rings. Because you're only posting 14, right?
15.
Oh, 15's on them?
Yep.
Yeah, so that's probably fine. Yeah, I guess you just kill them anyway.
At this point, I'm mostly positioning for next turn. I've got Maximus on the bottom flag, and I've bunkered him up pretty well with the Razor Boar, the Valkyrie, and the Roadhog, making kind of a wall, making it really hard for Tim to contest next turn, as well as the Roadhog on the right-hand side in his zone. Then I'm mostly just preparing for next turn. The Razor Boar on top walks up pretty far because he has mobility, puts up his countercharge Animus, Roadhog in the back. I kind of hold back, keep him in reserve for the late game, hide him behind the forest, safe from the AFGs, safe from the momentum gun on the Banshee, safe from basically everything. And I move Kwaak and Gub up, put Enliven on some targets that are probably not going to be relevant, but he might as well do his thing, and pass it over to Tim.
So this all presents a bit of a problem. One of the things I'd like to do is kill that Gremlin Swarm, and that's a bit of an issue. I'm also staring down the barrel of multiple Roadhogs, and I kind of need to score. It's relevant to point out that Evan's not actually scoring his own circular zone. The way Carver moved up, he's scoring his circle, or pardon me, his flag, which is relevant. But if I can also score my flag, I can equalize those points, and it's not a huge issue. I'd like to score my zone to take myself to a scenario lead, but again, 3 Roadhogs in that zone make that a very challenging prospect. We shoot a couple of aiming Stormfall Archers at the countercharge Razor Boar. I actually end up missing with one, which is unfortunate. The other ones are dice -4, and they leave them alive on, I think, 1 box, and then they get to repo back. So Razor Boar, still good to go. Because I had him on 1 box with the sort of embarrassing rolls of the Stormfall Archers, you actually end up shield guarding like the last shot that would have killed him. Forced me to use like a Ghost Sniper to take him out.
Yep.
Arcanist gives a focus to the Banshee. Banshee uses it to charge so he can get in range with both melee attacks. He charges with his little sword, needing a 7 to hit. Rolls to hit that one. Misses the 7. Second initial with the big sword, chasing a 7 here. I opt to boost hit just to lock it up, and he misses that 7 as well.
Gremlin Swarm still alive.
That's pretty tilting. I'm not gonna lie. At this point in the game, I'm on tilt pretty badly. I'm thinking if I don't score that point, it's a bit of an issue. So I debate my options here. I end up walking Iris into range. She's the highest rat piece I've got available on the list at rat 9. So that Gremlin Swarm's a 17. She needs an 8 to hit it. She misses it. Rolls to hit. Hits the Banshee, of course. And ends up putting 3 points of damage in the Banshee's 2. Not great. Definitely making some bad lines of play because I'm responding emotionally. Forgetting to repo Iris there. AFG moves up. Takes a shot at the Gremlin Swarm. It opts for the AoE 4 shot because obviously I'm out of stealth range. Drifts. Clips it with the drift. Just 3 points of damage to it. Shoots a second time with the AoE shot. This time drifts out in the middle of nowhere. Actually toward Evan's zone. And
basically on top of the obstruction.
Yeah, it like kind of actually just in front of it, so we end up sort of dithering around here. I don't know if I have an AoE 4 on hand. Remember your tools, folks. Have your things available on hand so you don't waste your clock tracking down random objects. So I think we end up placing an AoE 3 in approximately the right location and just are like, reminder, there's some rough terrain here. And there's some rough terrain there. Gremlin Swarm, still alive. So, do I want to commit the activation of a second AFG to killing this Gremlin Swarm? Like, no, but like, also I guess so. I do finish the Razor Boar, and the Ghost Sniper gets the Swift Hunter, and then he repos on the flag. Probably should have activated that guy last. Like, there's no reason he should have activated there, because if I do decide to commit the AFG to killing that Gremlin Swarm, now I'm in a situation where maybe I drift and clip my own Ghost Sniper with blast damage and kill him. Again, making a poor line of play because of an emotional state. Not something I'd recommend to folks. Other Ghost Sniper moves up, and he shoots and kills the Valkyrie, who was shield guarded last turn. Denying tough, doing an automatic 3 points of damage. That deals with the, I believe, 3 boxes she had left because she got healed by the objective. So that's a good piece for that. We activate Moros next, who gets concentrated power and was given 2 focus from Garryth. So he's in a position now where he can boost damage on both of his attacks and still buy 1. His attacks aren't blessed, but they do cause paralysis. So his first initial paralyzes the Roadhog, and then he boosts damage at POW 15, dice -6, does some damage, not a ton. Next initial, some more damage, not a ton, and he buys another attack and does, I think, maybe 1 more point. So I think at this point he's on, like 17 or 18 boxes here, Evan?
He's hurting pretty bad.
He's taken maybe a total of 10. Like, not a ton,
yeah,
but some. So, Halbs. Halbs next.
Yeah, how many Halbs do you have left?
I
Three?
want to say 4.
4 is including the banner.
Yeah. I debate the option of just, like, walking Garryth up into within 5 of this Gremlin Swarm and just, like, boosting to hit hand cannon shots on him. Garryth's at 6, so, like, a boosted shot needs an 11. That's, like, a 50-50. If it lands it, his hand cannons are magical, and, you know, I can boost damage and kill that Gremlin Swarm pretty readily. That'll give me the point, but at what cost? I'll then be in range for that Roadhog to charge me, which is not ideal. Defense 17 probably doesn't save him from a bunch of boosted attack rolls. He did keep heightened reflexes for free with Sylys in the list, so that's useful. Activate the halberds. They kind of do some oblique charges to get charge vectors and a couple of different things. They pop their mini feat this turn for some teamwork action, making it happen. And 3 halberdiers charge the top Roadhog. This is a totally undamaged Roadhog. These rolls are, instead of being dice -6 or dice -4 because of the teamwork feat. First one just blows up. I roll like a 16 on the dice. So it does 12 points of damage. Second one does like a more average roll, like a much more average roll. But he's still way more damage than I expected him to be. In those 3 attacks, he's taken, I think, what's he on, like 15 boxes now, Evan?
Yeah, he's... Ugh.
Yeah, so...
He's not doing good. It's funny because the 3 halberdiers did, I think, 2 more points of damage than Moros did.
Moros with concentrated power and 3 focus.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's unexpected, but not unwelcome.
It's fair.
So the other guy, you know, charged and did a couple of points to the Roadhog at the bottom. I think I also forget to repo them. At this point...
Your AFG is shooting into combat.
Yeah, so the AFG is like, I'm going to shoot the more damaged one. I'm aiming. I only need a 5 to hit. Destructor shot. Misses. Re-randomizes the target. Misses again. Second shot. Again, aiming. Needs a 5 to hit. Misses it. Re-randomizes. Hits. Misses one of my other guys. AFG's activation. Wholly wasted this turn. I had the option of shooting the paralyzed guy. Again, 5s to hit. I felt like concentrate the damage on the most damaged remaining Warhog, kill him, and then like see where we're at. Like just again try to push through attrition damage to finish beasts rather than leave them alive to get a bunch of work done the next turn. I think the logic was sound. I wish I had not missed 2 5s.
7s, but yes.
5s.
What?
Why not 5s?
On the Gremlin Swarm?
No, I'm talking about the shots on the Razor Boar.
Sorry.
Or
yes.
Roadhog, should I say. Yeah, 2
Fair
shots
enough.
into the Roadhog.
Yes, those.
Shooting into combat needs 5s.
Wow.
Missed 2 of those. Missed 2 7s, 3 7s actually, but then also missed 2 5s.
Huh, rough.
Yeah, been a tough turn.
Well, Gareth's going to do some work here, though.
Yeah, Garryth opts not to kill the Gremlin Swarm. He charges into melee. He has 2 Weapon Master POW 11 attacks that are also blessed. Like, that's a really big deal against this list because effectively, I still am interacting with the -2 defense you get from batting down the hatches, but you don't get the +3 armor. Mm-hmm. So functionally, I'm like a Mat 10 POW strength 14 Weapon Master with a bunch of bot attacks. So he charges into the Razor Boar that has 17 boxes left and finishes it pretty comfortably. Because I'm basically down to only a couple of camp with heightened reflexes, staring down a bunch of heavy beasts, I opt to take this turn to feat. His feat says you can't spend Fury for a turn. Mm-hmm. It would be much more relevant if I could knock you down and prevent you from spending Fury to shake. But I can't. Because Batten's a pretty good spell. But I'm catching Carver in it, so if he wants to cast Mobility and Batten, he'll have to back off a little bit. Which isn't so bad. But I'm using the feat really defensively here to protect Garryth, which is not the best use of the feat. I'm feeling a little bit kind of hemmed in by this set of circumstances.
Yeah. Well, at the end of your turn, I score one because Maximus scored my flag. Mm-hmm. It wasn't contested. And I feel like this is the point where Mirage becomes a really scary scenario for you because I can score my zone, the flag in the middle pretty easily, the flag on the bottom again, so that's 3. So if I kill your objective here, I win the game. That said, killing your objective is actually pretty difficult when I'm not allowed to spend focus or fury.
Yeah.
Like, I think protecting your objective is actually more important than protecting Garryth here.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, I don't want to give you an easy assassination, especially on the turn where Garryth has to come in and do a bunch of work.
Mm-hmm.
But also preventing you from killing that objective is a pretty big deal.
Mm-hmm. So I'm kind of thinking of how I want to do this turn, because I can clear out a lot of the bottom zone with my Roadhog on the very far bottom of the zone, and then I can free him up a little bit, or free the pink one up a little bit by killing both Skeryth and the officer to the halberdier unit, and then killing the other halberdier with a razor boar, and then having the pink Roadhog with Primal going on the objective at dice -1. He needs to roll a 9 followed by an 8 to kill it, which isn't great. And I can also try to go in with the Roadhog behind the middle, or behind the forest in the middle, and spray it at dice -6. Also not great, as much as it's a little bit of help. Yeah, killing that objective is pretty difficult for me, because also I can't really go in with Carver, because in order to get the range, I need to cast mobility, but I'm not in range because I can't cast mobility while I'm in Garryth's feet. So there's a lot of different things there preventing me from doing the kind of game-winning move I want to do. That said, this Roadhog's going to go do some work. He's going to take a free strike from a Sylys when he overtakes, and then he's going to just continue to overtake.
Yeah, the Roadhog, I mean, the Sylys does functionally no damage to him. But the Roadhog manages to get a lot of work in for a turn where you can't, force it all.
Yeah. Kills, what's his name?
Skeryth, Issyen.
Kills Skeryth and the officer to the halberdier unit. Carver then activates, backs out just out of the feet, casts mobility and batten. Or no, he casts
Batten,
just
no mobility?
batten, no mobility. I don't think I need it this turn because my Roadhogs are already basically where they need to be, except for the one behind the forest. And I need the armor more than I need the speed, and I need to heal one of my Roadhogs for 2 because his mind and spirit are out.
That probably was the one I should have Grievous Wounds.
I mean, spirit's not particularly useful this game, or this turn for me, because I can't force, and I also don't need mind if I'm going after the objective because I auto hit it.
Why'd you heal it?
Because if I don't kill that halberdier, I'm not going on the objective.
I guess that's fair.
Because taking a free strike, not great.
Yeah, no, that's true.
So Roadhog sprays the objective, doesn't do any damage, but sets it on fire. It's a start.
It is. It's a pretty strong line of play, actually.
This Battle Boar is going to primal the Roadhog in front of him before he charges, then charge the halberdier, misses his first attack as a set defense, hits his second attack because he's mat 6, and rolls a 7, kills that halberdier. Roadhog walks in and he's going to make his attacks on the objective at dice -1, hoping for some good rolls. I do 6 damage, followed by
6 more, I think?
another 5. So
yes.
I leave the objective on 4 boxes, which is fair. It's about average.
A little bit above, actually, I think, right?
7 and 6.
Oh, no. You're right. Perfectly average.
Yeah. My Gremlin Swarm moves in and sabotages the Banshee.
Yeah,
Does
there's
some
a bunch
damage.
of damage to it.
Yep.
D3 plus 3. It's pretty good. And can't be healed for a turn.
And can't be healed. Doesn't cripple anything, but, I mean, he's there. I might as well use the abilities he has on his card, as opposed to just being like, oh, it doesn't matter. It's only
And he's base
5
to base, so he
damage.
gets the mischief rule in on him. Maybe prevent my speed or reduce my... Actually, reducing his accuracy this turn would be terrifying.
Yes, that would be so good. But that's basically my turn. Not a whole lot because of Garryth's feat. That said, I'm going to run a solo the middle flag. I'm going to still score my bottom flag, and I'm going to score my zone. So it's going to bring me to 4-0.
Pretty advantage situation. No argument there. So obviously this has to be a huge scenario swing turn for me and a really big attrition turn. That means Garryth has to get a bunch of work done, and it means I have to kill a whole bunch of stuff. So Banshee gets sabotaged for -2 damage. It walks up to behind the Gremlin Swarm. With a back arc, it hits it, and it does enough damage even with the -2 to kill the Gremlin Swarm.
Damage is probably the least relevant thing that could have happened, because if I do -2 to hit or -2 speed, you can't, like if I do -2 to hit, you're -2 to hit. And if I do -2 speed, then you can't walk into my back arc, so they're functionally the same.
Aiming AFG, who moved forward last turn, gets shots on the objective. It goes for the Destructor shot type. It puts a couple of really solid shots in and does a truckload of damage to it.
I'm pretty sure you two-shot it.
Yep.
Oh, no, that was Kwaak.
Oh, sorry. I put my first damage roll into it, do a ton of damage. I put my second shot into Kwaak and Gub. Just trying to deny you solos who can score flags at this point. That's the mode, the plan here. I can't quite get Maximus with the other AFG, which is what I really want to do. Ghost Sniper moves up, gets in a position to take a shot, kills the objective, Swift Hunters off that, and then repos 3. Gets into Evan's zone and contests, preventing him from scoring that game-winning point on his turn. I'm now in a position where if I put a solo on my flag, I can score my flag, so best to do that. It's a tricky string of circumstances I'm in. Again, obviously, this needs to be a really big scenario comeback turn. Like, I kind of need to score, 3 points. I've just secured 2 points, and I need to deny Evan from scoring anything. And at this point, I've denied him from scoring all but 1 point. Run the Soulless Escort into range to contest. Keep the leader model fairly central so that unit's in formation. So now I'm denying him from scoring any points. And if I can clear my zone, that'll take me to the 3 points necessary to prevent him from really having more than a 1 point lead. Giving you a 1 point lead, I think, at this stage is comfortable. Because you're going to get one of those points back by having the objective die. Seems pretty trivial for you to kill it next turn. Stormfall Archers are going to advance. One of them gets in range to shoot the Bone Shrine. Again, I'm just trying to take resources away from Evan. Maybe eventually put him in a situation where he maybe can't even contest his own zone, and maybe I can steal a point from that. I've got units over there, so if I needed to run some Stormfall Archers, I could do that. Blow up a couple of good shots into the Roadhog here, I think.
Yeah, I don't think you do any damage to him.
Yeah, sorry. I think I actually just didn't even really have that many shots on him with the ranges. I think I just shot Maximus and did not really any damage. And then I shot the Bone Shrine and put a couple of points into it. Not enough to kill it.
Yeah, 5 points into the Bone Shrine. Leaves it on 3 boxes.
It's pretty high armor. I'm just -6 against it, so 3 dice 11 is perfectly acceptable. No complaints about that shot. Only had 1 shot into it, so I was just hoping to get lucky and spike.
And now you're debating on what to shoot with your other, with your other AFG, yeah, or Iris maybe, yeah.
Yeah, I've got Iris. She ends up putting a shot into the pretty banged up Roadhog.
Deadly bolts. Yeah,
2 points of damage to it. Yeah, I think it was down to 2 boxes at the end of or 3 boxes, something like that. And then we're putting, I think these are AFG shots. Yeah, I decided that I really do need the AFG to do a ton of work to that Roadhog. So Moros goes next, gets concentrated power, walks into melee range with this Roadhog and punches it, boosting damage, paralyzes you. And again, dice -6, puts actually 6 points of damage into him. Kills him. I'm like, well, okay, this is looking a little better. I've got some slightly more respectable options. It would be nice to still have Garryth's feet. I think if I still had it here, I would have already lost the game on scenario. So I'm staring down a Razor Boar and a Battle Boar who are still in the zone. Now, the Battle Boar is at full health, and I'm running out of tools that can actually kill it. I mean, in an ideal world, I could push it out of the zone or pull it out of the zone. I considered having Garryth go forward with acrobatics and just try to do like a ton of actual work with his guns, like killing Maximus, maybe ripping another solo off the table, just trying to be like aggressive in that line of play. Right now, I'm proxying out like a Sylys charge, trying to see if Sylys charged the Razor Boar, who is only defense 11. He needs a 6 to hit. And then he's dice minus 11. But like with a bit of a spike, I could put a couple of points of damage into him.
Yep.
He's taken 6, I think. So he's got, what, 8 boxes left?
left?
So like Sylys isn't going to kill him. But maybe he means that Garryth doesn't take 2 attacks to kill him. He takes 1. Because at this point, I'm considering charging Garryth into melee against these 2 war beasts.
You do exactly no damage.
I mean, miss all the shots you don't take. Is that the...
Yeah, something like that. But in comes Garryth.
So Garryth charges the Battle Boar. 4 dice damage, ignoring Batten. So, you know, you're arm 17. This is dice minus 6. I put a nice, comfortable 11 points into you, I think. Second
exactly
initial,
half.
We swap it over to the Razor Boar. We're just going to kind of see if against the unyielding Razor Boar I can do enough damage to kill him. I do. I one-shot him, so thanks for nothing, Sylys. It's fine. Buys an attack into the Battle Boar. Boost damage, too. Doesn't roll great on that one, but that's fine. Boost damage again. At dice minus 6, I think it makes sense to boost the damage. It's the right point. Kills the Battle Boar, is camping 2, has heightened reflexes, which was upkept for free. I mean, he's obviously pretty aggressive. Like, I'm pretty exposed, but I score my own zone. I score my flag with the Ghost Sniper. I contest Evan's zone, contest Evan's flag. I go
Score
to
for the objective.
Objective, zone, flag, score 3. The score is now 4 points for Evan, 3 points for me. I haven't lost the game on Mirage.
That's fair. So looking at the table, I think, well, my scenario win is basically off the table because as much as I can clear my zone, clear your objective, and score my flag, I can't get the last couple points this turn, and I feel like if I'm on the table any longer, Gareth's just too close to me, so I'm going to try to kill Garryth. It's actually not that bad for me because I still have my feat, which basically makes all of my models Weapon Master, all of my Farrow models, that is. So, just looking at the table, I'm debating on how I want to do this. I'm going to throw up Quagmire and Mobility onto Carver. Unfortunately, because I want to do Quagmire, I am not going to be able to get the charge because I have to get base-to-base with Garryth in order to actually do the thing I want to do. I'm also going to take one off the Bone Shrine. I will get cursed for it.
Quagmire's a cute line of play here because I was sort of thinking like defense 17 will save me, and you're like, when I get base-to-base with you, you're now defense 15, and I'm like, oh, that's more of a problem.
Yep. So, with that, Carver goes in, boosts to hits, and then because he's a weapon master on his feet, he does a ton of damage. Maximus gets a charge into your back arc because you charged the Battle Boar, so you're facing away from him.
Yeah.
He gets 5 dice of damage at dice minus 1.
It's pretty terrifying. Did not give him adequate credit.
And Maximus manages to just finish you off. I don't even have to activate the other Roadhog, the only Roadhog I have left on the table. Maximus is just like, yeah, 5 dice damage, boom, dead. Did it.
Yeah. If a couple things are a little different, I feel a bit better in this situation. For one thing, if I kill the Gremlin Swarm a turn earlier, maybe I get to save the feat, not worry about losing against scenario so aggressively there.
Yep.
If that's the case, and Garryth's in that same situation with his feet up, he's probably a lot safer. We talked about swapping Sylys out for something like the Fane Knight Guardian, who would give me +2 defense and not suffering a backstrike. That's appealing in its own kind of way, but I don't know if that's enough. It is an interesting suggestion. I still don't think Garryth is the kind of caster who can play as far forward as I was kind of forced to play him here. And I do really feel like the amount of scenario pressure that I had put on me dictated that he had to really get involved and do a ton of work there. Great game, though. Thanks for it, Evan. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, thank you. There's a couple of things we still didn't, like, I at least didn't show off with Carver's kit, that being Quagmire is a rad spell on a Gremlin Swarm.
That's true.
If, typically speaking, against, like, non-Retribution jacks, you can Quagmire a Gremlin Swarm, put him base to base with an just run him base to base with an enemy warjack and say you can't advance this turn, and then just sabotage them forever and give them debuffs because they just can't deal with the Gremlin Swarm and can't move.
It's pretty good on like a Colossal.
Mm-hmm. You can also screen really well with it because people will think, oh, I can charge through your incorporeal model, and that's not true because as soon as they get base to base with the Gremlin Swarm, they stop.
It's like Force Lock, but
Correct.
better. Yeah, it's pretty cool. I think the list has some interesting tools. And I think the sort of combined arms, mixture of guns, Retribution list has got some options. I might tinker around with a version that plays like Risavas, who I think are appealing, especially with heightened reflexes.
Yeah.
But that's it for this week. If you're watching this video on Patreon, we thank you very much for your support. It is appreciated. If you're watching this video on YouTube, you can get it a week early by subscribing to our Patreon. It's $1 per week, which works out to about $4 a month. I think it's cheaper than a cup of coffee.
I mean, depending on where you're getting your coffee, but yes.
Can you buy coffee for less than $1 somewhere?
Oh, sorry. You mean a week? Sorry, you said $4 a month
for your monthly cup of coffee.
Okay, I misunderstood what you were saying. You're right. You can get this cheaper than your cup of coffee.
Now you've ruined the tagline. Fine.
Remember to check us out on all the social media: Facebook, Twitter, Patreon.
Yeah, and out of curiosity, what do you pay for your coffee? Feel free to let us know in the comments below. And where are you getting it?
Look, I get
and is it good coffee? Like, because I'm interested.
Get really fancy coffee.
Yeah. No. Well, I mean, if you do, I'd like to hear about it.
Yeah. All right. Well, we'll see you next Monday, guys and gals and other peoples.
Folks. I like folks.
Folks works.
Gender neutral, supportive, inclusive.
That one.